So a couple years ago, I went ahead and I swapped out the stock exhaust on the Honda Rebel 500 for the Shorty GP from Radiant Cycles. Among the different questions I've received about this, one of the main questions is, how does it sound with the baffle in and with the baffle out? So right now, if you can see, it's kind of hard to see. Let's get some light in there. So right now I have the baffle in there and I've been rolling that way ever since I installed the exhaust. But today I'm going to be doing a test and show you the real differences between having the baffle in the exhaust and then taking it out, how difficult that is, and what it sounds like without it. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for stopping on by. If you like motorcycle content, consider hitting the subscribe button. I've got tons of it both on the channel and headed your way, so smash the notification bell for future uploads and or live streams. Either way, thank you so much for stopping on by and welcome to the Evergreen Motovlogs channel. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. So like I said, one of the big main questions that I've gotten about the Shorty GP exhaust is, what does it sound like without the baffle and does it compare? And yeah, I got it in there right now. I left it in when I originally installed the exhaust, like I mentioned, and I liked how it sounded, so I really found no reason to pull it out. That's what she said! Well, today is the day that I'm going to pull that out, but first, if you didn't get a chance to check out my previous videos, I'm going to have them linked on up here. I went ahead, I installed it, and then I also have a first impressions video. And during those videos, I did a microphone and decibel test, but today I'm going to get that done again and see if there's any differences. So the app that I'm using is called the Decibel X Sound Level Meter app, and I'll flash that up on the screen. So I'm going to be using this app, trying to set it here on the seat so that it is as close to what the decibel reading would be if I was sitting on the motorcycle. So this is the Shorty GP from Radiant Cycles decibel test, and the baffle is in. All right, I don't know how well you can hear me, but I'm gonna do the microphone test now. All right, damn, that was loud. I normally wear earplugs, and so being down there right next to the exhaust and revving the engine was louder than I was expecting it to be, but that's the decibel and the microphone test there. So next thing is to pull the baffle out, and I'm gonna wait for a few minutes and let that cool down. All right, and then the next thing I have to show you, the last thing with the baffle in, is gonna be a flyby. So I'm gonna drop that footage in right here. So, bike's cooled down, got my gloves on for protection. Always use protection. And I'm pretty sure I have the correct size. It's a 5/16. Really, 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 really small. And I think I got it. It may be a size in millimeters that works better. This is gonna be kind of a pain to do with one hand, so I'm gonna try to do this with two hands with the correct angle. Rotating it this way is gonna tighten it, so I wanna rotate it. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Pretty sure I'm loosening it, right? Am I loosening it? Man, this is annoying. Ugh, this is really annoying. Anything in small spaces like this is... We're almost able... Oh, yep, okay. And then the important thing, too, I'm gonna pick this up, is once it starts becoming loose, to hold on. So you see how... It's kind of hard to tell, but I pinched the nut, which is connected to this little bolt right here. Or maybe it's the top of it, I don't know. I pinched the bolt, and then I slowly loosened it and pulled this out, which, by the way, interesting. Interesting to see how the bottom, not very many scuff marks, but then look at the top. It's kind of interesting. I don't think it came like that. Anyway, because problem I had when I installed this was this baffle just slid way down, and then I dropped the bolt, and it was just a whole big headache. And so I didn't want to go through that again. I wanted to be ready. So I grabbed this, pinched it, loosened it a little bit more, and was able to slide the baffle out. So there you go. Baffle is out. This is what the Baffle Shorty GP looks like. Doesn't really do much, so I'm interested to see what the sound difference is like. Let's get the decibel test and the microphone test going, and yeah, see what it sounds like. All right, so first impressions of the Shorty GP from Radiant Cycles on the Honda Rebel 500 without the baffle in. So far, it sounds honestly exactly the same. Let's see what the decibel test says. It's about what the other one was, maybe 1 to 2 decibels louder. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see what it sounds like when you rev the engine. And now for the microphone test. All right, so first impressions, I'm not really telling a huge difference between the two. So I'm gonna get geared up, hop on the bike, and go take it for a spin and see, yeah, if it's different at all. I'll see you guys in 3, 2, 1. All right. And here we are out in this wonderful evening, and I just got done doing the flyby test for the Shorty GP without the baffle. I got some final thoughts, so I'm gonna hop on the Rebel 500 here and share those with you guys right now. Man, that's, what the heck, dude? I'm assuming they didn't smoke all those cigarettes right there. Just somebody being too lazy to throw away their garbage. All right, so the Shorty GP without the baffle, obviously have the baffle out now, and I'm probably going to leave it out for the rest of the time that I have this exhaust on this motorcycle. Be interested to see how long that timeline is. I do have a few thoughts, and leave a comment down below and let me know if you guys notice a huge difference and if you have one that you like more than the other. I'm interested to hear everybody's thoughts and everything on that. I don't really notice a huge difference, and let me know if you can hear a difference right now while I'm riding, you know, from what my normal videos sound like. But I noticed a couple things. So first off, obviously I mentioned it earlier, I believe it's about a decibel to a decibel and a half louder without the baffle. So I didn't expect a huge difference there. It's kind of interesting to think about that. And you know, if loud pipes save lives, do louder pipes save more lives? I don't know. Genuine question. I have no idea. But that's one thing to think about a little bit, just a little bit louder, probably not enough to bother any neighbors differently than if you just had the exhaust. I mean, your friends are probably not going to be able to tell, you're probably not going to be able to tell, but one thing to note, a little bit louder. The other thing, big thing that I noticed, you'll hear it in a minute when I'm going to get going a little bit faster here, is I feel like when the Shorty is idling, it has this nice, really low rumble that you really can't hear through the videos. It's something that I really didn't experience until I put the Shorty GP on my Rebel 500, and it's just got this really nice low rumble. But when you rev it up and get up to speed, the thing that I hear the most is kind of more like a buzzing, kind of tinny noise. And that's about the best way I can describe it, is that it's kind of just a buzzing, and it's like really when you're super high up in the RPM that it kind of buzzes. And so when I pulled this baffle out, I feel like that was enhanced or increased a little bit. And honestly, in terms of sound, I'd say the buzzing noise is probably the part of this exhaust that I really don't like the most. And you know what, if there's a more technical, better term for for it than buzzing, kind of that higher end kind of, I don't know. I don't really know the best way to describe it, but if there is, let me know down in the comments. I can't think of anything, nothing comes to mind right now, but it's kind of just a little bit more noticeable. There may be a little bit additional backfiring or kind of, you know, deceleration, popping, gurgling without the baffle, but I didn't really notice a ton. The biggest thing really is just this buzzing. So here, I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. I feel like when I have the baffle in the exhaust, there's a little bit less of that higher end kind of buzzing noise, and I notice more of kind of the lower end rumbling, or, you know, kind of feels like there's a little bit more of that presence there. So that may be just me kind of making something up in my mind while I, you know, try to think of differences. And if I sat down and I rode a Rebel without the baffle and then rode another one with the baffle just right back to back, I might be able to tell a little bit more, but that's the best I can come up with, you know, given that for the last, you know, couple years I've been riding with the baffle in, and this is, you know, only the first couple rides without the baffle. Like I said, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you can notice a big difference, if you have done this to your Rebel, and, you know, if you have a preference, if you think one sounds better over the other, or if you think it's exactly the same and this entire video is a complete waste of time. But thank you so much for stopping on by. I'm going to go ahead and cut things off there. At the end of the day, I don't really know if I would bother leaving the baffle out. When I got the Shorty GP from Radiant Cycles, it did come with the baffle out, and I installed it before I installed it on the bike. And so it was a little bit annoying to deal with, but at the end of the day, it wasn't too terrible, and I got it figured out. And for the last couple of years, it stayed in there no problem. When I went to loosen it, it was in there still pretty tight. But now, knowing kind of the sound and everything, I may put the baffle back in. However, I'm going to be doing something completely different and going to be saving that for another video, so stay tuned. It's coming down the pipeline. Excited, super excited to share that with you guys. But anyway, thank you so much for stopping on by. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And this is the Evergreen Motovlogs channel, reminding y'all to ride safe out there, mind your surroundings, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Can't really do the peace in the corner, can I? Peace!